Wow, thank you so much for as usual, such a lovely introduction. And yes, I think words so well warranted, Bhumi. We're so honored to have you here on the stage. And truly, our audience has been captive, so participative and attentive. And this session will promise to bring them this and so much more. You know, we're really here to understand the various facets that you represent because, yes, you're a celebrated actor. And a big congratulations on a decade of being in the entertainment industry. That's truly a landmark. So
thank you so much.
Big congratulations on that, yes. And of course, we're here to understand how you are really the face of being a climate warrior in this country. Before that, okay, let's hear from the audience. Who here thinks that India can truly lead the way in being climate warriors moving forward on a global scale? Aren't we there? Aren't we in this direction? Yes, super. Wonderful. And so who better to talk about this than you, Bhumi?
Well, to begin with, yes, I've completed a decade, and it has been nothing short of a dream that I had dreamt of when I was a child. So I keep telling people time and again, every time I'm on a platform like so, never stop dreaming. You know, people often tell you that you can't do this, especially if you don't belong to an ecosystem that can support your dream. You're often told, nahi ho paega, you don't have the means to do it. But I went against every no that I heard, and here I am today in front of an audience that wants to listen to what I have to say. And had I listened to everything that I was told when I was a teenager, I wouldn't have been here. So I just want to start that session by saying that that every no is actually a yes. My 10 years, yes, I'm an actor first, but there's a lot of advocacy in me as well. You know, for me, my art is a form of advocacy. It always has been, right from my first film, Dam Laga Ke Haisha, that stood for body positivity and loving yourself and accepting yourself and breaking the basic mold that the society has created for people, just this basic structure that we all need to fit into because we have to look this way to be accepted. My first film broke that, and I was very fortunate that since then, everything that followed helped me create a genre for myself. And I, in the most humble way, full of gratitude, I feel very proud that today there is a type of cinema that I'm associated with. And it's all because of my audience, and again, I want to always thank them. But I think my advocacy kind of started over there. When you think of art, art always reflects what the society is going through. Art always gives the society an opportunity to check what could be going wrong. It kind of mirrors the society, right? And for me, my biggest platform is my cinema. My strongest platform is my cinema because I can reach out to such a large audience together. And what is the power of cinema? I feel cinema makes you feel things and forces you to think about things that you wouldn't otherwise think about, because a life of convenience and a life of ignorance is the easiest life to live. But there you could be in a cinema hall with sharing a community experience and realizing that, oh, maybe I learned something here. In many words, cinema creates empathy. And what I have tried to do through my career is channelize that empathy, the empathy that I have, the empathy that I was born with, because I was born in a family where we were taught to care about others. In the simplest words put,
we are living in a time where really India is making a big stand on a global scale when it comes to everything to do with climate change and climate control. So what does it mean for you to be a climate warrior? And maybe you can tell us about your foundation a little bit.
I think, to me, it started because growing up, I realized that nobody's really speaking about this change. People feel climate change is this scientific thing that's not gonna happen to us. You know, they feel like we are never gonna be affected by it. It's gonna happen deep into the future, but that's not true. If you see what's happening around us, we are the generation that's actually gonna deal with the climate crisis in its more catastrophic form. And actually, our generations to come, the next two, are going to have the worst of it. So for me, my journey started as an anxious teenager who wondered what would I do to protect my family. As kids, you get anxious about thinking that one day you might not have your parents around. And I got anxious about it because I was like, okay, one day there will be a climate related catastrophe, and how am I going to protect my family then? And that's how my journey with climate advocacy started. And what I'm trying to do is use every platform, all the means that I have as an actor, through my digital outreach, through the work I do on screen and off screen. I am trying to create enough dialogue around it and enough awareness around it, and also actionable solutions. So that's how Climate Warrior was founded. And when this journey started, I felt very alone because there weren't a lot of people speaking about it. But today, I know that be it in the public sector or private sector, this is a very active conversation. We are now looking for solutions, and that in itself is a start for sure.
Absolutely. Well, not only that, you've also been touted as a young global leader by the World Economic Forum. You've represented India at Davos, which are incredible landmarks, especially for someone so young and representing also the entertainment industry. Can you tell us a little bit about this? And do you see people like yourself who have a platform of entertainment and film being able to take more steps and more stance in this direction?
Honestly, I hope, because we have a lot of soft power. The entertainment industry has a lot of soft power, and I really hope that there are more people like me, more of my colleagues, that enjoy going beyond what we are taught to do as actors. And that's exactly what I do. Well, I'm very fortunate that the Young Global Leaders community happened to me. I've been with them for the last year and a half, and it truly has been one of the most enriching experiences of my life, because here I am every few months spending time with a group of people that have nothing to do with what I do. We come from different walks of life across all countries, and we all are together because we want to create positive impact. There's a lot of learning, a lot of education. I'm full of gratitude that I get the kind of opportunities that I do because of the community, and I have had a chance to speak at various international platforms because of the community. And I really hope that I can maximize my work with them to truly bring about actual tangible change.
That's wonderful. And through this process, surely the topics that you pick are ones that do strike dialogue, that inspire all kinds of action, as you're saying. You must be facing challenges and roadblocks along the way. Can you share some of those with us? Maybe something our audience wouldn't know of, because truly to balance both worlds as you do must be quite challenging.
I think the biggest roadblock would be, I'm sorry, the AC is like very cold, so I might fumble with my words. Please excuse me. I think the biggest roadblock that I deal with is a general bias in both my words, like in the world of cinema, because I have a lot of activism in me. It's not the usual norm. So many a times when I am out doing work that I feel passionately about, that actually comes from a very, very real deep place, a lot of times it might be discounted as a PR activity, right? And on the other side, when I'm in the other world, a lot of times there's this bias that, she's from the world of entertainment, they don't really care. She's probably over here just again for her PR. And for me, I think that's the biggest challenge, because it takes me a lot of effort to kind of break that wall, and I've done it successfully over time, especially in the world of entertainment, because I've been here for these many years, so I think my authenticity has kind of translated. But I think that would be a bias. But I also recently started my entrepreneurial journey, and I think the challenges that I faced there, especially as a female founder, it's been co-founded by me and my sister, and I think that journey, there was a lot of unlearning that I had to do there, because in my world, I am the boss of my world. I have a great team that I work with, and I have people that instantly have trust in what I do as an actor. But when I moved to the other side, I had to rebuild everything. And there were just so many biases because people would just be like, oh, maybe this is a hobby. And to just convince people that it's not a hobby, this is my sweat, blood, hard work that has gone into this company and building it has been definitely one of the most challenging things that I have done.
No, fair enough. Wow, that's the third hat that you're donning that we're going to deep dive into. Okay, so let's check with the audience. How many people here have given up or at some point chosen to not use a plastic bottle and use a sustainable bottle instead? I'm sure, yes. Okay, great. More hands, yes, I know. Superb, right, Bhumi? Okay, great. So let's deep dive into this then. Let's understand your role as an entrepreneur as well, because it does seem to our audience here, to anyone who has followed your work, that Back Bay is truly an extension of your value system. Tell us a little bit about that. What made you choose hydration, first of all, sustainable hydration? And,
you know, it started with just the lack of availability of options for somebody like me that cares about what I consume and what I put into my body. I think the conversation around toxic chemicals that leach into our systems through water has been very, very active recently. And this is a thought that would really trouble me. So I kind of stopped drinking from plastic packaging many, many years ago. And through that journey, I couldn't ever find an alternative that was easily available, and with Back Bay, that's exactly what we are trying to fill. It's that gap, that in the beverage space, how do we create a brand that is good for you, good for your own consumption, good for your body, but also kinder to the planet. I think where we are at, as you rightly said, that for me, our value system and the value system that I have grown up with has to be the same. It has to resonate with what we've done at Back Bay. So for us, we constantly want to keep evolving. The beverage space has a huge gap today that we really do hope that we can fill in, and we really hope that we also have like more players in the market with similar packaging so that the size of the market increases. Yeah, the real hope is that eventually Back Bay can have an impact on people far and wide, and we are constantly evolving. We are constantly looking for better alternatives. How do we make our packaging better and healthier for you and the planet?
Yeah, wonderful. So that was truly a very clear gap that you have found.
Absolutely.
That you're filling in there. Okay, great. So, you know, again, as an actor, surely you're used to stepping into role after role and character after character. Was stepping into the role of an entrepreneur a tricky one as well?
Oh, absolutely, hands down. Probably the trickiest one that I have done, because usually the roles that I do in cinema, I'm done with them in 6 months. This is for the rest of my life. So I don't think there is any shutting down and being like, "Acha, abhi khatam ho gaya, aage badho." This is truly the next phase of my life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the mistakes, the success, the failure, good days, tons of bad days. You know, there are like small little wins. We are a very, very new company. So but we've been developing this for the last 2 years. So it feels like I have been doing this for a while now. But as actors, you know, I'm used to instant gratification. I instantly know अभी इसका क्या होने वाला है. You know, एक अच्छा shot दिया set पे, सब आपको appreciate कर रहे हैं, आप आगे बढ़ते हो. Film Friday को success हो जाती है, आप आगे बढ़ जाते हो. नहीं होती तब भी आप आगे बढ़ जाते हो. Here you're living with it. It is literally a part of your body. That's how I feel as a new founder. I don't know if, you know, others might feel differently, but as a new founder, I feel very deeply attached to what I've created. And that's why for me the most important thing with Back Bay is that how do we stick to our value system, how do we keep bettering our product. We might not have the perfect solution for the problem that we are trying to solve right now, but the hope is that as newer technologies develop, as we have newer options available in the market, Back Bay would adapt and adopt those options rapidly and truly present a sustainable beverage brand in India that probably did not exist. Even with all our future SKUs that are coming out, that's exactly what we are trying to tap into: well-being, wellness, good for your body, because that is our number one principle.
Your energy and enthusiasm is truly palpable, so we can, of course, see how much passion must go into your business too. So again, as an entrepreneur, as you say, it's been challenging, and probably you faced challenges that you haven't faced in the film industry. Was there anything specific that you learned here as an entrepreneur that perhaps being an actor you never would have seen or learned before?
I think one of my biggest learnings was just the importance of your core team. That definitely was a very valuable lesson, because, you know, when you are a startup and you're a newer company, we are completely self-funded. At times you're like, okay, especially with your co-leadership, and you only learn this over time, is that the culture that you create in your company is way more important than shelling little more money out. You know, this was my biggest learning, that those key people that you work with, your vision needs to match, their vision needs to match yours. They need to have as much trust and faith and excitement about what you're trying to create, otherwise it's not going to work, especially for a startup.
So as an entrepreneur in the sustainable space, and of course as an advocate, what are some of the unique challenges that you see India specifically facing when it comes to this role towards climate change? And what role does the youth of the nation play here today to really advance us forward?
I think one of the biggest gaps that I saw, and this is again something that I realized more deeply once I got into the category that I am in, is, and this is again something that we are developing a vertical around in Back Bay, is how do we have a robust waste management system in India? You know, to me, that has been an area of passion for me, and that is something that I want to work on more deeply. And I really hope that over the next few years, that is a gap that I can close with newer products that we introduce, but also in general, how do we create more, how do we make sure that not just like in the private sector, but also on a micro level, like within individual homes, how do we have a more robust system where there is better management of our waste? You know, we've constantly heard ki gila kachra alag, sukha kachra alag, etc. But kitne log karte hain? You know, even though I have been a climate advocate for so long, it took me many years to have that kind of circularity in my own house. And today I can proudly say that we have it. All of our wet waste is composted. We have we create our own manure that goes into our plants. हम RO से भी जो पानी बचाते हैं वो हमारे plants में जाता है. See, the thing is ना, sustainability में कोई perfect solution नहीं है. लेकिन मुझे लगता है सबसे बड़ी चीज़ ये है कि कहीं ना कहीं, and this is again from a very individual point of view, I don't think this is for corporates, or this is not a comment on policy, this is purely from what all of us individually can do in our own ecosystem, is that how do we adopt circularity into our own homes. I think that is so important, क्योंकि जब तक मैं अपना कचरा एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल वे में अपने घर से नहीं निकालूंगी, वो आगे सो इट बेसिकली करप्ट्स द एंटायर चेन. दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम विच आई फील हैपन्स इन अ better way maybe in other economies, but our population is so large, and I think this is more of an urban problem, and unfortunately a lot of that is dumped into tier 2, tier 3 cities in India. And somewhere for me, I want to find a solution. I think that is what I'll be working on for the next few years.
Fantastic. So truly trying to inspire the common citizen, basically. And again, the youth of the nation, do you see them stepping up? Do you see them playing a role? Do you see yourself playing a role in making an impact there?
Definitely. I feel the youth of the nation is the nation. They are the ones that run the nation. They are the today, not just the future. You know, not recently, 3 days ago, I was in Jammu. Like many parts of India, Jammu is also deeply affected by the floods. And I had gone to do some flood relief work. And again, and the reason I'm coming to this is because I saw the level of destruction that had happened over there because of a youth-led initiative. You know, so usually the youth always comes together for change. So I'm very, very positive that there will be change like so even now. Like today, it's already such a big step that in our education curriculum, kids today are already taught about circularity, sustainability, segregation of waste. And I wish when I was in school, all of this was taught, because my generation and the generation before me is actually 2 generations before me. We are the abusers. You know, we grew up in a very abundant planet, and we are leaving back a planet that wouldn't have as many resources. You know, so I feel like somewhere any kind of disruption that you're seeing, even in technology, it is coming from the youth. So honestly, all our hopes are pinned on them.
So, all right, so understanding all these, again, various facets of you, which has been so wonderful to understand, Bhumi, the advocate and the actor and the entrepreneur and the inspiration behind the youth of today. What does success mean for you? Because it could be anything, actually. And of course, for an actor, one might think that a success in the box office equals success to them. But for someone like yourself, who is so diverse and so passionate about these wonderful and truly globally impactful topics, how would you measure your own success?
I think, to me, success is just sleeping peacefully at night. You know, just the fact that I can get 6 or 8 hours of peaceful sleep truly is success to me. Because, and that's something I've learned over years, right? When I look back at my life, one thing that I want to make sure is that I lead by what my parents have taught me. And I'm very proud of the moral construct and the value system that I have been handed down. And I want to lead my life in that fabric. So for me, I think if I successfully manage doing that, to me, that will be success. And don't get me wrong, I love money. I love power. I love influence. And why should I not? I have worked so hard in being here, you know. But I don't want a life where I don't leave behind an impact. I feel like बहुत actors आते हैं, बहुत actors चले जाते हैं. But I want to leave behind an impact not just in the world of acting, but in the world that I truly brought about some kind of change. And that's why I do the cinema I do. And that's why I feel I truly find a lot of joy and happiness in. And I again say it in a very, very humble way. I don't mean to be pompous, or I don't think I'm some great human being. I just feel like I have seva bhavana in me, and that is something that really keeps me going.
Wow, that's truly touching. So wonderful to hear that from a celebrity and a well-known face like you. Was there any moment in your life, it could be your career or your personal life, that really stood out as a moment that you were proud of and you could see the impact that you were making?
Oh, absolutely. So I have been associated with a tribal school in MP since 2017. I came across the organization when I was shooting in the area, and I became very, very close to them. I was done with my shoot, and I went in and I saw the facility. It was completely dilapidated. They barely had any means to survive, honestly. And yet every child there was so happy, because what they had that they didn't have earlier was dignity, respect, and love. And that is something that impacted me deeply. And since then, I have been associated with them. And I think just the progress that we have seen within that organization is something that truly makes me feel very, very proud. You know, we have fought many battles there as well, but yet we stand tall. We have one of our students, she was selected into a national law college, which was a very, very big win for us. We have another student who is doing her MBBS. We have little kids that are learning coding. So these are the real wins, right? When you actually can impact somebody's life like this. So for me, I think that has to be something. And it also keeps me going. It keeps me motivated, because for me, my success and why it is important for me to keep growing in life is not just for myself, but also this beautiful ecosystem that I've created for myself that has to, like, I hope it keeps getting bigger.
Truly inspiring, Bhumi. What words of wisdom and inspiration here. And you know, before we wrap up, as you can see in our wonderful audience, we have a great mix of female leaders alongside all the leaders here. And coming from someone like you again, who's had such great achievements across all your endeavors, is there something you can leave our audience with today, especially the women of our country? Because we are looking at an era where, yes, women are stepping more and more into roles of leadership, again, as we can see here today. But there still is a little bit of a way to go, isn't it, to bridge that gap? So just some inspiration for our female leaders.
Absolutely. I think what I started our conversation with is that, and this is especially for all the women in the audience, is that, you know, we are constantly judged, we are constantly told we can't do this because there haven't been enough people, there have been enough women that have done it. You know, but we also shouldn't forget that we are 50% of the population. And yes, physiologically we might be different than men. I'm not going to debate that at all because we were made different, but that doesn't mean that our desire, our dreams, our want for success and our ambition would be any lesser, or that makes us weaker. Our vulnerability is our power. And I think always harness into that. So what I would tell all women in the audience is that every time you hear a no, find the yes in there and go double the velocity, because that's the only way to be.
I think a big round of applause is due, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Bhumi. What an inspiring conversation, truly. Is there any last word that you'd like to leave again our leaders here today, who are truly the leaders of the country when it comes to the world of energy, renewable energy, sustainability? We're talking, of course, about climate action with you. So any final words you'd like to leave our audience with?
I think, thank you so much for listening to me talk. I hope I did not bore you guys. But also, my request, just as somebody who wants to champion all the causes that you spoke of, is that we are the generation of regeneration, and let's just make sure we maximize it so that we can truly leave behind an abundant planet just like the one that we grew up in.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. A big round of applause. Thank you, Bhumi. Truly been a pleasure to have you here and sharing all your experiences and your final 2 cents to take away with the audience. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that candid conversation, both of you.